Alrighty, guys, Spencer G, Slaughterhouse Sports. Here we go again. Couple hours after the game, University of Nebraska goes to Iowa. Amazing. Amazing how the Nebraska Cornhuskers cannot beat the Iowa Hawkeyes in the game of football when Iowa has no passing game. They barely have invented the forward pass. Nebraska throws for 190. They run for about 110 yards. They get up in this game 10-0. Nebraska's defense, I expected them to play great. That number was 3.5, and Nebraska even covered this game while blowing the game. So, again, it was good money out there on Nebraska. I knew that this backup quarterback that was literally a linebacker playing quarterback but really hasn't been different than Spencer Petras and a lot of the other quarterbacks at Iowa. Iowa just, every single year, Iowa just does the thing. And Iowa's going to go 7-5 or 8-4 again. And Iowa's special teams are that good, you know? Their field goal kicker's incredible. That 53-yarder was a thing of freaking beauty. And you knew that was going to go in the most soul-crushing way. I bet even Iowa fans might even feel bad for Nebraska at this point. What a wild, wild football game, guys. What a wild game. I'm going to look up the team stats here. I think that they're going to be pretty crazy. The game came down to a couple of plays in the second half, and a couple of plays go different, and Nebraska's going to end up winning this game against the Iowa Hawkeyes, okay? But we said the same thing last year, and it's so interesting because Nebraska last year played really ugly against Iowa, had, Chubba Purdy at quarterback last year, and I don't even think Chubba's playing, where he's playing this year, I don't know. So what ends up happening is that Nebraska's driving to go kick a game winner. They fumble last year with Chubba Purdy, or Chubba gets picked off, turnover. Then Iowa has like a walk-on kicker who literally has one leg or something, or has never kicked in 10 years. They could probably take a guy that's a student section player, and that player will magically make a 55-yarder that'll just clear the crossbar in humiliating fashion. So how many walk-off field goals is Iowa going to kick against Nebraska? It seems like every year the game ends in walk-offs, and the only time when Nebraska has actually beaten Iowa, I bet you guys will have I bet that a lot of people would not guess the coach of Nebraska. It's Mickey Joseph. It's the last time that they've beaten Iowa. I think Riley has lost every game to Iowa. Scott Frost lost every game. Rhule's lost every game. You got to go back to the Bo Pelini era where Bo was 3-1 against Iowa. So, Nebraska football always finds a way to choke the game away. That is Nebraska football. So Iowa is better than Nebraska, because if Iowa was lining up a 25-yard field goal, their snapper can get the ball back to the holder. If Nebraska was punting to Iowa, Iowa would fair catch the ball. They wouldn't fumble the ball. Iowa's quarterback, you could say what you want about him, he would not get strip sacked and lose the ball. If Iowa's receiver, Nick Lachey, or what is that, a singer or something, Luke Lachey, if he had a 15-yard pass that was going to go for 50 yards, he would catch the ball. Instead, Isaiah Nayor, on a perfectly crafted play, drops the ball. Dylan Raiola throws it really hard. They drop the ball. Comes down to a couple of plays. You can't, Nebraska, when the season's on the line, when the chips are on the table, okay, they could probably kick a 52-yard field goal against Northern Iowa, like whole Hole. That's literally his name, Hole. All Hole is leaving is a hole in Nebraska's heart. And it's not even Hole's fault because they can't even snap the ball right. So, after last week, it was hooray, Dana Holgerson. This is amazing. We're going bowling. We're storming the field. Let's go. Then you get off to a 10-0 lead. Your defense is humming. Dana Holgerson's here. You look like you're going to win this game throughout. Okay? And you even mess it up so bad on special teams, literally fumbling the ball, literally letting Caleb Johnson go 70 to that crib. Okay? There are so many things that you do wrong. Okay? It's all between the ears. Everything is in between the ears. You probably have kicked a 20-yard field goal. You could probably get people at Nebraska who have played high school football to snap and make but guess what? It's the pressure. It's Kinnick Stadium. It's Iowa. It's the boogeyman. Okay? It's voodoo. Voodoo magic happens against Iowa. You get in your head. It's exactly like playing Tiger Woods or whatever. When you play Tiger Woods, a 5-foot putt becomes a 20-foot putt. And against Iowa, a 20-yard kick becomes a 50-yard kick ordeal. Okay? It's crazy. Hold on one second. I'm discombobulated just thinking about this game. So you guys want to know why the magic secret to why Mickey Joseph was the one coach to beat Iowa in the last 10 years? And I don't mean to sound like really, really sarcastic, but they had Trey Palmer. Trey Palmer's probably the best offensive weapon since Amir Abdullah that Nebraska has had. Okay, he's a decent receiver for the Bucs. He's a 5th-round pick, right? At Nebraska, he was insane. He went to West Lafayette. He played Purdue. He had like 300 receiving yards against Iowa. That's what you have to do. When your defense gets you 3 and out, 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 3 and out. When Iowa goes 0 for 10 on third downs, you as an offense cannot score 10 points. You can't. You're Dylan Raiola. You're a 5-star quarterback. You're not a freshman anymore. It's the last game of the year. Okay, you're paying out 6 figures to Nayor, to Banks, to all these players. You got to muster up more points. Maybe that's on Dana. Maybe even a little bit it's on the whole offensive staff. You got to be consistent because guess what? If you go up 20, if you score 20 points, Iowa won't catch you. Iowa won't catch you. So you went up 10-0, great. Just put a couple more points on the board and you're going to win the game. But Nebraska doesn't make those plays. They don't have the talent. Like the thing about Ohio State is that they could just throw the ball to Jeremiah Smith and Will Howard can throw 4 touchdowns and that's how they get away. So it comes down to one. You got to pay off one more receiver. You pay all those money for facilities. You pay all those money for nutrition and everything. Comes down to you just got to get a weapon on offense that can absolutely take the top off. You need an elite weapon. Ja'Cory Barney's really good. I think someday he can be that elite weapon. He wasn't today. Didn't even see Ja'Cory Barney. I want to look up these stats. Ja'Cory Barney's stats today. Ja'Cory Barney in this game, who's really fast, who's one of your best weapons, catches 3 passes for 29 yards today. Thomas Fidone made a nice play, but he only made 1 play. Oh, we're going to see Thomas. He had a great week of practice. Thomas Fidone, Mr. Council Bluffs, Iowa. This isn't a knock on Fidone. This is a knock on in the press conference they said we were promised Fidone. Fidone didn't happen. Didn't happen. So no Heinrich Haarberg either. That's just funny. Some games Heinrich plays, and sometimes either he carries it 10 times like Taysom Hill or he carries it 0. Heinrich actually did attempt a pass. So there's that. He probably was in 1 play. I can't believe it. I want to see this box score one more time for good measure. But this ruins the bowl momentum for Nebraska. It does. And imagine if Nebraska lost to Wisconsin and the bowl curse. That's the only thing keeping Husker fans from absolutely just like throwing a glass bottle at a window. And that is, again, I maybe that's even really graphic. I don't condone that, okay? I don't. Very frustrating. And Matt Rhule, I appreciated how frustrated he was because it is frustrating. Football's supposed to be frustrating. You're Thomas Robinson. No, you're Robinson, Ty Robinson, matter of fact. You play Iowa 4 times. You pitch you go 9 innings of baseball. You literally go 9 innings, 1 out of baseball, and you allow a home run. And you lose the game. Drew Stevens, congratulations to Drew. Let's see. I bet they are 0 for 10 on third down. Here we go. Third down, 0 for 10. Nebraska, 20 first downs in the game. How many did Iowa have? 5. Nebraska had 334 yards of offense. How many did Iowa have? How many yards did Iowa have on offense today? 164 yards. The Iowa Hawkeyes ran the ball 26 times with Caleb Johnson, who's a superstar. Nebraska's defense allowed 1.9 yards a carry. Not even 2 yards a carry. Iowa had the ball for 20 minutes. Nebraska, 40 minutes. 40. There's Iowa, though. 1 penalty in the whole game and no turnovers. 2 fumbles by Nebraska. Field goal kicking. Iowa minus 3.5. The over-under, a big 41.5. Really set the over-under to like 16. That is insane. 335 yards to 150 yards. 20 first downs to 5 first downs. Caleb Johnson's like the best running back. That's all they have. They don't have a passing game. He scores on the screen. Your defense literally is losing. How could you say that you lost when you played the best game that anybody's ever going to play against Caleb Johnson? I mean, when you're like a starting pitcher and you lose and you throw literally like 16 strikeouts, no hit ball, perfect game up until the 9th inning, and your offense gets you like scores 0 run support, and then you get a home run on you. And you do that like 2 consecutive years against Iowa. It's the same story. Unbelievable. And I mean, this year, guys, come on, 6-6. Like even Deshaun Foster and UCLA is beating Iowa this year. Lose the game at Illinois when you really could have beaten Illinois. Indiana, you no-show that game. Terrible. One of the worst games of the year. Thinking about all the games. What game do you want back? Probably Illinois. But that was so early in the year and you're still 5-1. It's got to be UCLA and tonight. You flip those 2 games, you're 8-4. You can easily not have a horrible first half against UCLA. That was the worst half of the year. UCLA was doing nothing offensively. You're at home. You got to find a way. That was ugly. You fired your offensive coordinator. You started 5-1. You had a pretty easy schedule. You caught Colorado at the right time. Let's just call it how it is. It's a disappointing year. There's meat on the bone. All right. There's 8 or 9 wins out there. What's Dylan's future? What's the wide receiver going to look like? What's Dana going to do? What's bowl game going to look like? What's Matt Rhule? If he didn't make it to a bowl game, his seat would be scorching hot. Instead, it's huge that he beat Wisconsin. Huge, because you exercised one of your demons. Tonight is just raw and frustrating, and it's the same story.